Chaotically Nerdy is a podcast made by nerds for nerds. This podcast is made by adults, for adults, and children with bad parents. Adult language will be used and adult situations may arise. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chaotically Nerdy. On today's episode is me, Tyler. The other two giggly bitches are...
Me, Ethan.
Holy fuck, we did it out of order.
Me, Jared. I was laughing too much.
He was laughing too much. I had to go.
Okay, I don't like it.
Start over.
Nope. It's staying in.
Okay, fine.
The episode where we're wrong. That's the title.
That's probably true.
It is probably true.
It's probably true.
So today's episode, we're going to talk about the Nintendo consoles. I put Nintendo games, but that stayed on there because it was left over from a previous one.
You mean the best consoles?
See, I knew that you liked Nintendo because whenever we did the nostalgia one, that was one of the things that you brought up was Nintendo. That's why I did this, because I know all of us have had Nintendo consoles at some point to some degree. We all share one right now. Not share, but we have the same one right now. And that's because it feels like everybody has one. So starting up, we're just going to go through the consoles. We're going to say if we had them or not. Nintendo consoles in 1977 came out with the Color TV game. It was available from 1977 to 1980. Ethan's probably the only one available to have that.
I'm not that old. No, I didn't have that. I actually don't know if Dad had it even.
Oh, really?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know anybody that did. And to be honest, that was news to me whenever I looked it up, was that they had a Color TV game, was the title of it. I know Jared didn't have it. He's still looking at the periodic table over there.
False.
In 1983, it says in 1983 and 1985. I think that's...
83 is Famicom, and the which is the Japanese release, and the NES
Yeah,
is
the American version. Okay. So NES and then Family Computer is what it was called, or Famicom for short.
Yeah.
Did your dad have one of those?
I don't think he had an NES. I think his cousin had one or something like that. No, they were older. So no, I had an NES later though, after the SNES.
Gotcha. NES. That's like the old.
NES?
No, what am I thinking of? Am I thinking of Super NES that I probably had?
It was purple. SNES was purple, wasn't it?
No, it was
gray.
It was
gray and
gray and
purple.
black.
Gray and purple.
The slide buttons to turn it off and reset it were purple, bluish purple. It's like an indigo.
Okay, yeah.
NES was like a...
It was red and gray. Mostly.
Okay, the NES was like the OG one.
Yeah.
That it released for ages apparently, because that's what I remember first playing on.
Well, that's where everyone had like Duck Hunt
Mario
and
like
Mario in
everything.
their home. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting that it came out so soon, like so far behind, and that's kind of
What you had.
yeah.
Same, I had.
Like
that.
it's interesting that it was still releasing that late whenever you still had like the Super Famicom and the Super NES came out in 1990 and 1991. So you would assume most people would have that instead.
A lot of the problem was that the NES was out for so long, and then they came out with the SNES, and people were like, "Well, it's just the same thing. It's just a new version. Like, you don't need to buy one right away." So,
which is the complete opposite of what we do now as a people.
a lot of parents in the '90s didn't go for it right away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's more, which, I mean, now I guess it's more interesting because, like, if you think of it, they don't really sell. I don't even know if you can get a new PlayStation 4.
Probably
You know what I mean?
not.
Like, there's PlayStation 5s that
probably
are.
upper duck. Maybe. I have to look it up.
I don't know. I haven't looked that up.
Probably
in a
not
while.
an American one. I would bet in like other countries like
Korea.
Korea or Brazil or stuff like that. I know because I feel like they were making like PS3 games until like 2018 or 19.
Yeah.
For a long time. Not games, but like consoles as well. Yeah, they were still selling them down there because it was.
Yeah.
so
It's
popular.
it's just interesting to see the difference in how we've changed as a people. Like
Well-
when a new one comes out, that's the one where we're like, we have to have that.
It's the hot shit.
Well, when the Atari and the NES were out, like there was like no other at-home gaming systems,
was
and there was no premise for updating that to a new version yet because people didn't even have like at-home computers really.
Yeah.
At that point,
And now we're so swamped with choices.
new versions all the time, next gen all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have been a new like at home computers for like games and stuff, and like personal use wouldn't have been out until like probably the late '80s, early '90s.
Yeah.
And then Nintendo 64, which I did not have one, came out in
Not either.
1996, 1997. You said you didn't have one? Ethan, did you
Did
have?
you skip over SNES?
No, I talked about it. We talked about it and kind of said
had-
like
did-
what it
did you
was.
have a
Did you have
SNES?
this?
I had the SNES. That was the first one I
SNES.
had. And then obviously I did have the 64.
Okay. I have played a lot of 64, but that's because Clay had one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it went.
I was a PlayStation man.
I mean, I was too, but that's
Oh,
how
that's
it
what I
went.
had.
Was like you had something, somebody else didn't have it. So like you would all get together and play.
We were almost all Nintendo and PC all the time. I mean, like I didn't even get an Xbox until 360.
I didn't either. I mean, I was PlayStation until that point. PlayStation and Nintendo, but that was because I'm from a split home. So one family had Nintendo, one family had PlayStation. Next up, now this is just like the consoles, not the handheld consoles. We'll go back and talk about that in a minute. The GameCube came out in 2001. That was my like first Nintendo console that I had at my main home, like at my mother's home. And I played the fuck out of that.
It was a weird thing. The discs were really small.
Yeah.
And it actually didn't like it was pretty much a flop to begin with. But nowadays, it's like one of the favorite Nintendo
Like for people to go
consoles.
back and play, yeah, they love it.
Yeah. Well, the controller for that's the one thing I want to mention about GameCube in general is the controller was probably one of the best controllers ever made for video gaming. Go look it up. Like most people will vote that's one of the best controllers. I mean, obviously the PlayStation 4 controller was super good, but
I still would rank like the Xbox 360. Is like the way that fit ergonomically in your hand was beautiful.
no, it's too big.
No,
It's too big.
The 360 is not. The one is too big.
The one is way too big.
Which we'll talk about that at a different point because I'm going to make an Xbox versus PlayStation episode.
Oh, gross.
And then the Wii, which everybody and their fucking brother
Yep.
owned,
Yeah.
came out in 2006. And I mean, I literally don't. There was one at my house. There was one at my grandma's house. There was one at my aunt's house. Like
It was like the first video game console that like I feel like got like
appealed to like families.
not families but like older people like
Yeah.
that you're like you don't play video games. You're like yeah, but I can do like Wii Fit or
I can play tennis.
tennis or bowling. You know.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably the best game on the Wii is Wii Sports.
It's
Absolutely.
the highest selling game of all time because it
Because it
came
came, with the
console.
console. Yeah.
And wasn't the Wii one of the highest selling consoles for a long time?
Yeah.
it was like fucking like we thought trying to get a PS5 or Xbox Series X was hard. It was like literally impossible to get a Wii for like ever.
Like, I had to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
I think I was buying it with my own money, but no, it was really cool though. I mean, obviously everybody knows what a Wii is and the Wii controller and stuff, but I think it was a little bit ahead of its time.
It was.
It was
totally.
ahead of its time and behind of its time. A little bit. Because
With the processing power for the actual
the
console, was behind.
its time, like comparatively to 360 and PS3.
But the
like,
motion
keep up.
control was really cool because we had never had anything like that before.
it also depended on what you played.
Yeah.
Because they tried to do like a Call of Duty game.
I know I had it.
And from what I remember, because my stepdad bought it, I did not play it. I was like, I'd rather play this on Xbox. But he played it and he had issues with like he just didn't like the way it controlled.
Well, and there was a lot of games I had that on the Wii that just didn't work out. Like I had the Force Unleashed on it, and I don't know. It was still fun because you get to lightning and kill people randomly, but it just didn't work very well. I don't think compared to like an actual controller.
Gotcha. And then last up for the actual like consoles is the Wii U, which I don't know anybody. Did you have one?
Nope.
Somebody had one
Why would you have gotten that? It was basically the same thing as the Wii.
with the gamepad.
Yeah.
The gamepad. That's all.
Why would I even bother?
Yeah.
I think that's what a lot of people thought. I think it's probably one of the least selling.
It is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for like being them trying to say it as like, oh, this is the updated version, like it'll run better and things like that. I feel like nobody bit for that.
I don't think it actually ran that much better,
I don't think it
to
did
be
either.
honest. I haven't really looked into that much, but
One of the only games that I think I would have wanted to play with that is the fucking Super Mario
Yeah.
one, where you could have the pad and you could help like the party
Or hurt.
or hurt. Most of the time it's hurt
Yeah.
because
you can just fucking like kill them basically.
yeah.
oh, like Mario Party?
Well, you could just like
No,
put a
it was
wall
like
up.
Super Mario Brothers Wii U, I think is what.
Yeah, it was Super
Oh,
Mario
really?
Bros. Wii U. You could have like me, you, and Jarrett could play. You two could be Mario and Luigi, and I could be someone that could help you just by basically placing blocks, so that you guys could jump to certain areas. You could get over certain obstacles, or I could just make a wall of blocks, and you guys could fall in the lava.
That's a really cool concept that probably never actually played out too much in reality.
It was Achievement Hunter did several videos on it.
So many.
And
it was fucking hilarious.
it was literally just it was 5 of them playing. They gave one of them the gamepad, and that's all he did was try to fuck with him.
It was fucking hilarious.
And it was just like a rage-filled episode.
That's what I would end up doing the entire time.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to the handheld consoles, which we probably actually owned a little bit more of. The Game & Watch series. I looked this up and now I forgot it. Because I'm terrible.
I remember seeing one at one point,
I never had one ever.
but I didn't have one.
I didn't know anybody that had one.
No,
Well, I
it
mean,
was-
we probably wouldn't, which I guess it technically came out.
it was a little bit before and after
Mm-hmm.
our time because it's, I mean,
Yeah. Game & Watch. It literally just looks like it's a handheld game. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming the watch is just...
I know the character is in Smash Bros now.
Is he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mr. Game & Watch.
Mr. Game & Watch.
It's been in there since Melee.
Yeah.
Huh. Didn't know that.
Mr. Game & Watch is my favorite character to play.
Spoiler alert, have never played...
Smash Bros.
Yep.
I mean, it's a fighting. It's like a
All right, I guess I'm leaving.
next year. Tell us you never played Mario Kart.
Have you never played Mario Kart?
I've never played Mario Kart.
You should feel bad.
You shouldn't even be on this episode.
I shouldn't.
No.
I made this episode for you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's very nice of you.
Because whenever we get to the favorite Nintendo games, boy, am I going to be lacking.
Yeah.
Next up on the handheld is the Game Boy in 1989.
I had one of those.
I did not have
I still have
an
it.
OG Game Boy.
I feel like I did, but I can't remember enough of it to say for certain that I did. I know I had a Game Boy Color.
The problem was at that time, the only place you could really buy things around here where we live
Walmart.
was Walmart, and they didn't actually have a lot of games I was interested in for Game Boy.
Yeah.
So I only had one game, and it was Tiny Toons Adventures.
Tiny Toons.
Yeah. I played the crap out of it, but it was on a Game Boy, and they didn't have very good battery life.
And next up is the Game Boy Color. Came out in 1998. I know, like I said, I know I had one of those.
What color did you have?
I think blue, if I remember right.
What color did you have, Ethan?
I hated handhelds.
You didn't have the color?
No, I didn't have any. I didn't have any of these
Oh, really?
between Game Boy and Switch Lite.
Damn.
Really? I had the see-through purple one.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah.
And then next up is a Pokemon Mini that came out in 2001. I don't remember looking at that.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either. Give me a minute. I will look it up. But in the meantime, we'll move on to Game Boy Advance because I did have one of those. I had the purple see-through one for the Game Boy Advance.
I did not have an Advance. I had an SP.
I also got an SP after that.
There was no reason to get an SP.
I understand that, but they still bought it for me. I don't know why.
I don't know. I guess at this age, I was just able to entertain myself when doing
I love
things.
Pokemon though, so I needed to.
That
was
is
the-
the thing. Yeah, they were more focused around the handhelds with the Pokemon.
So the Pokemon Mini was, oh, of course, now it's going to take forever to load. I just had it pulled up.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think the only reason I didn't get a Game Boy Advance is because there was no Pokemon game out really for it. Fire Red and Leaf Green, I think, were the first ones. or maybe no, that was actually no, it would have been Ruby and Sapphire. Those came out by that, and that was in 03. So that was like, all right, well, SP's out. It's fucking cooler.
Well,
looking.
see, I didn't have these consoles. I had the adapters to put them into the real consoles.
The GameCube. I had that as well.
That was fantastic.
It was.
Yeah.
There was nothing better than playing Ruby on your fucking.
Big TV.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. It was great. I loved it. That's what I spent the majority of my time doing, honestly. That's why I probably never played Smash or Mario Kart. And I didn't have friends. I didn't have friends that wanted to play.
Smash, you don't need friends really. Like
Yeah.
it's more
No.
fun. But there's like story stuff you can do on it.
Well, especially
then.
Brawl and After, like they had really good stories to them.
So the Pokemon Mini had 3 different colors. It had a Wooper Blue, a Chikorita Green, and a Smoochum Purple. That's the Chikorita Green. So I'm assuming that it's very similar with like the Wooper Blue, that it's kind of like a clear case, and then the controls are that.
Literally, what is it?
It is a handheld game console designed and manufactured by Nintendo only for specifically tailored Pokemon mini games.
Oh.
It is the smallest cartridge-based game that Nintendo has ever produced. It includes an LCD screen and a plus control pad feature.
I never heard of this.
The games that it has is Pokemon Party Mini, Pokemon Zany Cards, Pokemon Pinball Mini, Pokemon Puzzle Collections, Pokemon Tetris, Pokemon Puzzle Collection Volume 2, Pokemon Race Mini, Pichu Bros Mini, Togepi's Great Adventure, and Pokemon Breeder Mini. Don't like that one.
Breeder.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's the exact reason why I don't like it. Next up, the Nintendo DS and 3DS. I had a 3DS,
I had both.
I think. I skipped the DS for whatever reason.
I had both.
You said you didn't have any until the Switch
Yeah,
slash
fuck you,
Switch
we're-
Lite.
We're not even looking at you.
Hey, don't look at me.
The Switch Lite came out in 2019.
Don't have that because why the fuck would I get that?
Yeah, why would you have that if you have a Switch?
The Switch Lite is better.
Is it?
If you're using only handheld and not connecting to your TV,
But I
it
can.
is fantastic.
That's what I bought the Switch for.
That was
Yeah,
the first Switch I bought was a Switch Lite.
I bought it to connect to my TV.
I gave it to my nephew. So
Reason I bought-
Literally, if they just made like a Switch console that you just connected to your TV and didn't have to have the handheld, I would have that instead.
I would prefer that, honestly.
Yeah.
Switch home, Switch base,
Switch base, yeah.
Switch base. I don't know.
Basically.
I was trying to think of like a
Switch Home would
That'd be
probably.
good.
Switch heavy.
I think Switch Home would be kind of how they target
Full
that.
flavor.
Whole Switch.
Swatch.
Oh, watch. That's definitely what it needs.
You know what's bad? My Switch is used for Crunchyroll right now. That's it.
Why Crunchyroll?
Why are you using a? Why?
What do you mean? Why?
Why are you using
You
your
have a
Crunchyroll?
computer.
Yeah, but I don't want to sit. I like to sit on my couch
Why don't you get like a fucking like a Fire Stick TV that's like $30?
because I have a Samsung TV that has 95% of the apps that I use.
And it doesn't have
It
access.
does not have Crunchyroll because it has Funimation. And what I was reading was that Samsung is like, if we have one,
So
do we need to pay for the rights for the other?
So use
But
Funimation.
isn't one of them out of business now?
They're owned by the other.
Or
Yes, they're owned by the other.
consolidated.
The licenses are still there.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have. I had a Crunchyroll membership because my understanding was that Funimation was essentially going to be shut down
That's what I was. Also
and everything was going to move to Crunchyroll.
That's not
So
the case.
that's what I did. Which now they gave me like a free year because I had a Funimation thing, and whenever this all came out, because that's the way that they kind of showed it, was that it was going to shut down. So I messaged Funimation's IT and was like, hey, like I just paid for a year of Funimation, y'all are shutting down, get me to Crunchyroll. So they gave me a year of Crunchyroll. It just expired and I never put a credit card on there, so I'm out of Crunchyroll right now.
He's out of Crunchyroll.
But the
Go
reason,
get you some more Crunchyroll then.
well, the reason I use the Switch is because I can turn my Switch on and it will take over the TV.
That's true. That is also annoying sometimes, though.
It is.
Like if you're putting it back in the dock or something.
Well, mine stays in the dock, so I don't have to worry about that.
If I ever take it out, though, I'm like, I want to watch something on the TV and play Switch at the same time. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
I know this isn't an anime streaming podcast, but
I mean, it kind of is.
It could be.
Crunchyroll is far superior than Funimation. Anyway, their whole interface.
Yes, that's true.
I agree.
Funimation's UI was awful.
Their streaming was smoother too on Crunchyroll.
I never had any issues with the streaming on Funimation.
I would have hiccups every now and then. It would just like
The only hiccup I would have, like I could watch it on Xbox because I have an Xbox. I could watch it on there and it had no issues. Something about being on the Samsung TV, it ran like shit.
that didn't surprise me.
Uh,
A lot of TV UIs just are not good in general.
yeah. Everything else I use works fine.
I know my TV's awful.
But that's the main reason why I have the Switch as my Crunchyroll account, because I can literally just hit the home button on my controller and it will take over my TV and I'm good to go, which makes me super happy. So now we're on to the hybrid consoles. The Virtual Boy came out in 1995. I didn't own one. Did you? Did your dad?
No.
You were alive then.
I wanted one.
Yeah.
No,
wanted
don't ask me why. That was maybe it's just because it was like the cool new thing.
You probably seen it in a magazine
How
somewhere.
old were you in 95?
This was not actually 95. It's probably more like 97, 98.
Okay, because I was like, you gotta be like really young.
I was like 2.
If I'd
I would've
be
been
like,
2.
I gotta get me that.
I'll be like, I heard about it. And be like, oh, I want a fucking Virtual Boy. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Switch, which came out in 2017, they've had several different iterations,
Switch
which is
Pro.
yeah.
Switch Plus. That's what it
Which
needs to be called.
which we all three, you own like an actual Switch too, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
He got it for Scarlet, Sword and Shield
Uh,
for Scarlet.
No, I bought Jamie a Switch from him when his mom made him sell it for some reason, and I had it for a while, and I played a few games on it and stuff, but
being a shit, I'm
and I
sure.
sold it back to him eventually whenever he
Oh.
got me money back for it.
You're
so.
such a good person.
And then I bought
Fuck
the
you,
Switch.
Jamie.
Then I bought the Switch Lite when Sword and Shield came out, and then I gave it to my nephew for his birthday the next year, and then I bought
A regular Switch.
a regular Switch from Andy. So
Gotcha. Okay, so now we get to move on to the favorite Nintendo games. Like I said, I'm not going to be a lot of help here.
why not do your favorite console first?
Do I have favorite? Did I even?
You
have
didn't
them?
do favorite
I didn't do
console.
favorite console. Fine.
We
Name
just
your,
went through them.
name your favorite console then. Fuck.
It's you
It's
It
you,
is me.
bitch.
every
So
time.
Always.
my favorite console is the GameCube. I think that I have more nostalgic memories with the NES, but as far as enjoying it, Ethan is right. The controller is one of the best. I don't think it's best, but that's me.
It's one of the best. Is
Yeah,
what I said.
it's one of the best. I'll agree with that. And I just have such good memories playing with that. But like I said, I know for a fact that I have more with the NES. Jarrett, that's
Mine-
2 ones in a row.
Yeah. Mine is probably I'm going to go with SP.
That's me.
Yeah. I probably had more games for that, probably because, I had all the Yu-Gi-Oh games, all the Pokemon games.
I think that's part of the reason why the GameCube is for me. Sorry to cut you off, but I think that's one of the reasons why, because I had the attachment to play the SP games and Game Boy Advance games as well. So that made it a little different. I spent more time playing on the GameCube than I did the actual SP.
But it's probably my favorite just because I had the most games. It was probably the Nintendo console I played the most, without a doubt.
I guess for me,
It was the
man.
color TV game. You'd never seen color before.
I've never seen color before. Yeah, this is a really. I know I just asked this, but I mean, it is a really good, difficult question for me because it's not the Switch. It's definitely not the Switch.
I mean, that's understandable, I feel like.
I think I'm gonna have to pick the GameCube as well. I think there were just more games on it, and the way that it functioned, like the controller, and then
Like, it ran really good.
it ran really well. It was a little bit behind in the technology for the other consoles that were coming out at the time.
But it still didn't have it. I don't remember having any
I
issues.
didn't either. It always had good games come out for it. Pikmin came out for it.
Yeah.
Wind Waker was really great. Rogue Squadron was the best on GameCube. Bounty Hunter was on GameCube. That's a really difficult game because the controls were garbage, but that's because they were programmed to be garbage. But I don't know. There were really great games on it, but I think all in all, it's the best. But honorable mention would be just the SNES because, again, it had all the classics on it. I can't even say that because 64 has Zelda, the good ones. There's just too much to say, but I think in general,
The only
GameCube was the most enjoyable.
The only 64 game I remember playing was Star Fox.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like me and Clay played that a lot. And so now we're going to talk about the favorite Nintendo games. And this is the part where I get shit on because I don't have a whole lot of Nintendo games. I haven't played a lot. Ethan, what's your favorite Nintendo games?
Like just in general, just a group of them?
Yeah, sure. Name off like
5?
I'm gonna. Ooh, 5's a lot. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to 5.
About 8. There's a lot. I mean,
Name off however many you feel comfortable with.
Fuck, boys, I didn't. Mine are all.
I was like, for Mario, okay. So just the general like series for Nintendo, Donkey Kong Country 2, the Diddy's Conquest.
Oh.
I think it's called.
Conquest. That sounds like something
It's
Diddy Kong would do.
Conquest, yeah. This is just fantastic between the music, the platforming, and it was difficult, but not impossible while being fun instead of frustrating. For Mario, it was definitely Super Mario Brothers World Yoshi's Island. I don't know. It was just a lot of fun playing it. The only thing bad about it was the baby crying all the time, which was really annoying, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun. Zelda, it's a combination between two. Ocarina's Time and Majora's Mask was the best for me. Maybe it's because it was really the first 3D games I ever played.
Was Ocarina of Time? Was that GameCube?
Ocarina of Time was 64. They were both on 64.
The GameCube, Wind Waker, and
Okay, Wind Waker.
it's only one.
No, they did eventually put Twilight Princess out for GameCube.
That's right.
But it was originally just for the Wii. Yeah. It was one of the launch titles, I believe, for Wii.
And what an awful game that is on the Wii.
Which one?
Twilight Princess. It's just terrible. The controls are awful on it.
Once you get used to them, they're not bad, but just having to say that is kind of rough.
Yeah.
So I just generally plugged in my GameCube controller into the Wii and played it that way, which was better.
Yeah.
I know it's not just a strictly. Are we talking like just Nintendo games?
I would assume.
Okay, so I'm not going to say
Yes.
like a LucasArts game
Because
Okay.
that's the issue I'm running into. Is
Right.
that I've played Nintendo games, but they weren't solely Nintendo. Like I played Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, but that was not a Nintendo only game.
So then I would say I don't remember which Kirby it was, but Kirby games in general were really good, really fun. There's one more I want to
I
mention.
don't know that I've ever played. What the fuck did I do with Nintendo?
I don't know. Apparently
Like
nothing.
I've played one Zelda game.
Wind Waker.
I have, yeah, and I've not completed it. I just played it here and there.
Pokemon Coliseum.
That's a really good one.
That was probably one of my favorite. That's probably my favorite Pokemon game. I think I've said that.
I think if
before.
I would have like fought for a 64,
Yeah.
that would have been the game that I would have been like, this is why I need this.
it's really good. I think that's the ones I want to mention. Oh God.
God damn.
I think I had some written down. Make sure I got them all. I think I did.
Well, while you're doing that, we can move on
Oh,
to.
and
Never mind.
actually I'm gonna let someone else because I know someone else is gonna mention it. But Super Smash Brothers in general, any of them.
It's not gonna be me.
Is it me?
Yeah,
I think that's everything I got.
I just meant it wasn't gonna be me mentioning Super Smash Brothers.
But is it also me to go?
It is also you to go.
My favorite Nintendo games. So one of them is definitely going to be Pokemon Ruby.
Fuck yeah.
Like that was like I played that so many goddamn times. The other one's Gold. That's the two I played the most.
Just gonna name off 5 Pokemon games.
I could. I'm not going. That's the only 2 Pokemon games I'm going to name. Those are my 2 favorites. Outside of that, I did have access to a GameCube for like a year and a half, 2 years, whenever Ashley lived with us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lot of good memories of that with like, what was it, Sonic Adventures 2?
I forgot about Sonic.
It's not Nintendo.
But it's a Nintendo game.
It's Sega.
The Sega was dead by that point.
Fair.
It was for a GameCube game.
Then I'm gonna say Banjo Kazooie because it was fantastic, but it's not Nintendo.
That and then obviously Melee, Super Smash Bros. Melee. That's my favorite out of all of the ones I've played. It's probably all the ones that like. Those are definitely my favorites that I would like recommend to people.
I know we've talked about Pokemon before, so we've already talked about why those are good, but why Smash Brothers? I know I mentioned it
Why
too.
Super
but
Smash Brothers? It's weird because my favorite character on there is Link, and I don't really like Zelda games. It's very weird. It's probably because he just like looks the coolest.
He's got the sword.
He's got the sword.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just.
I think
fun.
whenever you look at them in Smash, he does look one of the best.
That, but you also had the alternate outfit, so he would have the Link with the black outfit, which was like
Dark Link, yeah.
That was in my. This is in my like beginnings of my emo phase, where I was just like Linkin Park and stuff. Where I was like black, yeah, cool.
You don't know this because you weren't around.
You
but
weren't
Jared,
friends.
Jared had a phase where I think the only thing he listened to was Linkin Park.
Yeah,
Wow, you're so angsty.
It was like
angsty.
he had like 3 albums and they were just on repeat. If you got in a vehicle with Jarrett, Linkin Park was on.
Just listen to it till you became numb.
Yep.
In the end, though,
God,
it wasn't your thing.
doesn't
Just
even
considered
matter.
a bad habit.
Yeah. How many more can you fit in? A lot.
I think he's
Why
out.
did you stop? Did you get hit by a meteora?
All right. That's about the extent
Let's just
of
leave this in the shadow of the day. Just
fucking hate you. All right. Is that all you got?
That's probably all I got. That I feel like mentioning.
Okay. So I actually came up with more than 5, believe it or not. Super Mario Bros. 3. Because that, I believe, is the first one that you get the feather and get to fly around, right?
Yes.
yeah.
The Tanuki.
Yeah, you get the Tanuki hat.
That's not a feather. It's a leaf, and you get to turn into a Tanuki.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was a feather for some reason.
Luckily, they left out the flying by testicle. So
Do you know where that was debuted at?
No.
The Wizard. The movie The Wizard.
Okay.
With young Fred Savage. That's the plot of the movies. They go to like a Nintendo conference and they play Super Smash Brothers 3. It's a fucking weird movie.
Huh. It does seem like a weird
you
movie.
you ever see the Power Glove?
Yeah. I've seen the Power Glove.
That's part of the movie. I think.
did you say Super Smash Brothers 3?
No, I said Super Mario
Super
Brothers.
Mario Brothers.
I was really confused because you said Smash, Brothers.
I
Okay.
meant Mario Brothers.
I assumed he just said
I just
it
got
wrong,
lost. I'm sorry.
Or I assumed one of 2 things. Either he said it wrong or I don't know enough about Smash
No.
Brothers to say that it's not in the game.
No, I said it wrong. My brain was.
So there's that. Duck Hunt is also one that I remember spending
I'm so surprised.
hours.
The Duck Hunter is.
The Duck Hunter in the room.
Oddly enough,
Favorite
though,
Nintendo game was Duck Hunter.
Oddly
Yes, we
enough.
know you didn't become a Duck Hunter until later in
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
it would have never registered,
But it's ingrained in you as a child.
apparently.
How many times did you try to shoot the dog?
Every time.
Every time.
Yeah, every
When
time.
do you not?
That's the whole point.
Part
the
of, yeah. I think the first time I went duck hunting, I tried to shoot a dog out of instinct.
game. They're like, no.
Got to be careful with that one because that's called real life.
That's a joke, by the way. I did not try to shoot a dog. We didn't have a dog.
I don't believe it.
He was too poor.
Just brought birds. Fetch.
No, I was my first time going. I was the dog,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Now I try to be the dog on purpose because I don't trust people to find it. Like, you're not going to get there in time. Because if you don't know this, when you shoot a duck, sometimes they don't die right off the bat. And if they don't die and they see you coming, they swim under the water. Well, when you duck hunt, it's cold. Sometimes the water's a little frozen. They get a little caught up underneath there and you can't get to them because you can't see them. So, Pokemon Ruby was fantastic. And then Super Mario Sunshine was one that I remember playing that I really enjoyed. It was one of the first like open worldish Super Marios that I remember playing. That wasn't like just it was a platformer, but not, it was a 3D platformer,
Yeah.
not your typical Mario side scroller platformer.
Yeah.
Mario 64.
It was the first one.
Well, it's the first one I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And Super Mario Odyssey, I've played part of. I've not finished. Had a kid, stopped playing it. That was basically the extent of that.
Odyssey's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I did play was very good. I have an issue where if I walk away from a game and it's longer than like 3 months before I'm able to come back to that game,
It's dead to you.
It's dead to me, and I have to restart the whole thing. So I just haven't restarted it yet, and I will probably do it at some point. And then Animal Crossing, New Horizons. Me and Sam spent so much time playing that game. And it's one of the few video games that I've got her to actually like play and enjoy. Like she's played that, and she would play, I don't know if she will anymore, Call of Duty Zombies. She'd play that. It was very interesting.
Different opposite
Yeah,
ends
it's
of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
opposite ends of the spectrum.
She likes Animal Crossing. You might try her on like Stardew and stuff, but
Yeah, I've
might
thought
be good.
about it. I have it on my PC, but I just don't think I could get her to like sit down and do that. I'd have to buy it on Switch. And
What's that one that Logan talks about? The Disney Stardew.
oh
one.
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I forget what it's called. I don't remember.
I don't remember. I don't know.
I'll look it up. But
Disney Stardew.
Yeah, it's like
that's what Logan
Disney
explained.
Dreamlight Valley,
Yeah, Dream.
Oh, that's right.
because it's basically Stardew Valley
Yeah,
with Disney characters. You don't remember him talking about that? In the
I know.
Discord?
I remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next up.
Well, no, I didn't actually explain what was special about one of the games.
Okay.
Yoshi's Island
Yeah.
is Mario, but you don't play as Mario. You don't play as Luigi. You
Yeah.
play as Yoshi.
Yeah.
Do you ever play it?
No, I've seen clips of it being played, but I have not ever played it.
For shame.
Brother, you can name a Nintendo game, and there's a 8 out of 10 chance I didn't play it. Name one. Just pick one.
Metroid Prime.
Never played it. Keep going. This will be the podcast. Keep going.
Fire Emblem.
No, never played it.
Well, most people haven't.
I was
Yeah.
just naming one.
I'm not going to keep going.
Keep going.
You already disappointed me.
I did play.
Kirby.
No, never played
a
it.
Kirby
I've never
game.
played
I
any
don't know.
Kirby. I have played a Donkey Kong. I remember playing that.
Super Mario 64.
No. Well, maybe. That one's a maybe, but I don't remember playing it.
Any Zelda game.
I've played Wind Waker. Like
Wind
I said,
Waker?
bits and pieces. I've not finished it. I have Breath of the Wild at the house. It's just one of those things that I know
It's going to take up a lot of time.
it's going to take up a lot of time, and I'm afraid I'm going to walk away from it and not do it.
I understand that.
I'm afraid I'm going to get 2 months in, walk away, and not remember the
Breath
controls.
of the
have to
Wild is a
restart.
lot. It's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a huge game.
But I should play it because I know it's a good game.
And then there's those sequels coming out soon.
Yeah.
So
Well, that'll just be one that I'll just wait 3 years and try to buy it for like $15.
Good
believe-
luck with Nintendo.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
don't ever have
They
anything
don't drop
else
their
to-
fucking
No.
prices.
exclusives, yeah.
Speaking of exclusives, next up, the next question: does Nintendo have the best exclusives for consoles? I feel like yes.
I'm thinking.
They have the most iconic exclusives.
I think that's why I think they're the best. Let's roll, Jarrett.
I'm thinking.
Just give us a yes or no, and then we'll.
Basic
Debate.
I would say yes.
'Kay.
Yeah.
Ethan.
Well, I mean, if we're talking like just between the three major console productions, like so between Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo,
Yes.
like what are the exclusives we're talking about for PlayStation is like Gears of War.
No, other way.
Otherwise,
That's Xbox.
That's Xbox.
God
it
of
doesn't
War.
matter.
God of War.
God of War. That's what I'm trying
Yes.
to think of. God of War. What else is exclusive for PlayStation?
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man right now.
All right.
Horizon
All right.
series.
Well, see, are they really exclusive anymore?
Well-
Because they now have transferred over to PC.
They're exclusives to start.
We're not counting PC because lots of things that are exclusive
Yeah.
for PlayStation or Xbox are also on PC.
Yes.
Yeah, those Horizon,
And then what's exclusive for Xbox? I can name one: Gears of War,
Gears of
Gears of
War,
War, and
Halo.
Halo.
That's about
Halo.
Yeah, that's
Forza.
Forza is
What are the exclusives for Nintendo?
Mario,
Zelda, Kirby,
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, Pokemon. Okay, there's your answer.
That's 5. Yeah.
There's your answer. Yes, they're better. They're more iconic. They're what defined video games. It's obviously the best.
Be honest, if they weren't exclusives, Nintendo would not be making consoles anymore.
No.
They just because
They'd be a gang production,
they would go the way of Sega and just become a game production.
which is fine. I don't think there was room for a fourth console
No,
system out there. 3 is enough.
I don't need 3.
No,
Like-
I think Xbox and PlayStation's war is a little bit stupid. Nintendo, I can understand. They have a totally different market than the other two,
Yeah.
just because of the way things are designed.
Yeah.
the way the
All
games are
of their
designed.
games are a little more kid friendly.
While still, a lot of them
While
are still
still being-
accessible for
yes,
adults.
yes.
Yeah. Because that is a big problem with some games, I guess. But
Whereas Xbox and PlayStation is very teenager to adult
Yeah.
based for the most part. There are some, I guess. There's another exclusive, but I can't remember what it is. It's for Xbox. It's a kids game. It doesn't matter.
It's a kid's game.
Oh,
Yeah.
Little Big Planets. The
PlayStation
one.
But they haven't
that
made
I
one of
really
those.
like. But I mean, how long's it been?
Yeah,
So,
been a while.
Yeah.
Next up, so this is something because we've talked about Mario Party, we've talked about Super Smash Bros. I want to play Mario Party. I want to play Super Smash Bros. That Super Smash Bros. Is kind of meh.
It's a fighting game. If you're not a fighting game version, it's not really.
I like them, but they get repetitive.
we were
That's
talking
my
about
issue.
party games,
Yes,
Wii
Mario
Sports.
Kart, Wii Sports. Nintendo seems to have captured playing with your friends better than any other console or
Company.
PC games. Even there's some games that are really good with playing with your friends on PC, but Nintendo just
Knocked it out of the park.
yeah. And it makes you want to. They have games that make you want to get together to play with your friends. Whenever you're like on PC, you're like, I can play this at home, and they can play this at their home.
I mean, there's stuff like MMOs that are like, you can play with a lot of people and stuff. But
you're
like
probably still not-
first-person shooters that are like team-based things. Like,
Yeah.
you have like Destiny and Call of Duty and Rainbow Six. You have all those things that are, you can do party stuff with them. But the Nintendo stuff,
It's so much more fun.
it's more accessible. It's more fun.
Yeah, it's more for like LAN party style where like
Yeah.
everybody's in the same room on same console, being like, yeah.
And
I think when you're in the same room, it causes you to enjoy it more.
And you can have an enjoyable thing. Like if you have a kid that's like 5, 6, 7 years old, they can enjoy it just as much as you can at say 30.
Yeah.
Whereas like, Rainbow Six Siege, you can't enjoy playing with a kid who's 7 years old, which is a problem that happens sometimes.
That's false. I remember my mother had a friend. Her son was like 7 whenever Call of Duty was a real big deal, and he was fucking good. That kid was playing video games from like the age of 2 on.
Yeah, but that's an outlier.
It is an outlier.
Yeah. He had those like reflexes honed,
Yeah, he was good. He was as good as teenage us.
which we weren't that good.
No.
We were all right.
Yeah.
But but you're right though. Like the question here was I would never even thought about that question, but it's totally true. They've
Yeah.
really perfected it.
So since I
compared to
didn't-
others at least.
Since I didn't ask it outright, I kind of just hinted around at what it was. The question that I wrote down was, how has Nintendo seemed to capture the better with friends genre better than anybody else that has done it?
Sure, if it's like their design philosophy at Nintendo as a company, or if it's like a cultural thing in Japan, or what. I don't really know.
I don't know. But I just know that of all the, like, if you were to tell me, hey, I want to play a party game, I'm like, okay.
9 times out of 10, it's probably going to be
Yeah,
on Switch.
it's going to be,
Or a Switch.
it's going to be a Nintendo game.
It's going to be Mario Party, Wii Sports.
And that I've thought about buying those games
Mario
for
Kart.
Yeah,
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart, Mario Party, Super Smash Bros. I've thought about buying those games just on the off chance that I wanted to be like, hey, anybody want to come over and play some video games? Just to have that.
And it's not like board games where you're going to lose friends just by playing them with your group of people.
Well, Mario Party.
I don't know. Even if you are
start
kind of
still
being
with-
the dick in the party, I mean, you can still have a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you can also.
But Monopoly,
I think that's just more so the way Mario Party works. Like whenever you're at the end and it just gives stars to somebody for sucking the most, and they end up winning the game. Yeah, that game that can fuck off. That would cause me to fight somebody.
I guess bullshit.
Especially because I know me. If I was doing really shitty at the game and it caused me to win because they just I just got super lucky at the end and they just gave me stars for being shitty, I'm rubbing that in everybody's face.
Yeah, you're so
I'm like,
winner.
look at you, bunch of fucking losers. And I know that if somebody did that, like if Jared did that to me, I'm punching him square in the face.
That's a lie. You wouldn't punch me in the face.
I wouldn't.
even if there are other games that do it well, I think they still do it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Among Us is good, but it's still not Mario Party.
And
That's probably like one of the closest ones, but it's not even in person though. It's just more.
yeah,
But it's
it's
still
online.
like-
And I think that's the issue is that it's online. If you get enough friends and you join it in Discord,
Here's the thing
it
though.
works
Among
beautifully.
Us is based on a game that you play in real life.
Is it?
It's based off like Mafia.
Yeah. Oh,
Which
yeah.
is like it's literally the same thing essentially.
Gotcha. Okay, so we somehow milk that for 45 minutes.
You're welcome.
I don't know how. I really expected that to be,
Milk man.
again, need to be a video podcast so everybody can see the two idiots.
Milking it.
Milking it.
You can take the milk in it the way you want, whether it's a cow or
A zombie.
God damn it,
As Andy.
fucking D&D reference there. So
Fucking
thank you for listening.
Burn in hell.
Fuck off, both of you.
What, me?
Yes,
Why? What did I do?
'cause I don't care.
It's you for bringing it up again, and then, well, actually, I brought it up, and I made it. So it's really me.
Yeah.
Torch
It's
on the lake.
Yeah. So in the description, there is a link to our link tree. You can use it to find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple, all the places podcasts are. You can also use it to find a link to our Discord and come talk to us there. You can find links to our Patreon, support us there, and you get to hear bloopers from us. And by God, just don't. I don't recommend it. The fact that Ashley did, the bloopers are so stupid, but I love them.
It is. It's just being stupid.
You
It
just told them they should and then shouldn't.
Yeah, because you gotta.
You gotta net
It's called fishing, Ethan.
You bastard.
We suck. Don't listen to us.
Or do we?
Find out.
You're a bit far into the podcast to start trying to use like reverse psychology. here.
And you can also find links to our Facebook page, Instagram, and more. You can also find it just by doing linktree.com or linktr.ee/chaotically nerdy. If you just type in Linktree and chaotically nerdy in Google, we should come up. That's the other thing you can do. You can just type in chaotically nerdy and we're going to show up.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That feels weird.
It feels weird that we're high enough up there that you could just see it. So far on Apple, we are rated 5 stars
Yeah.
by all 3 people.
It's the three of us. No, it's not. It's not.
It's
It's
really
really
not.
not.
I have rated us, I will be honest,
I'm pretty sure I did too.
on Spotify.
Oh. Wait, no, I did on Spotify, I think.
Yeah.
I did on Spotify.
Because Spotify, if you don't know this, now we're just tangents again, but if you don't know this, on Spotify, you have to have so many reviews before it will even show a review for your show. Because I could not find it, and I had to like go in a different way to review it so that it would try to show it. Because I was using my personal account to, like, I use that to make sure that it uploads every week because I have anxiety about that. And that's how I found out that, because I was like, it's weird. I don't see a rating. Surely somebody had rated us. And it caused me to look into it. And it's like, no, you have to have so many reviews before it will actually rate you.
I think it's to prevent people from like
Having-
falsely
yes.
boosting their own stuff.
Yep.
Which is kind of
It sure does. It makes sense. Even though that's kind of what we did.
Yeah. He just put a message on the thing like, hey, rate us if you haven't rated us. I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Yep.
You're just milking more time, aren't you?
Absolutely. Not that I have to, but
milking.
that will wrap everything up. I'm sorry for those idiots. And we appreciate you listening. If you somehow magically made it through that,
Yeah. Commend you.
you are made for this podcast. So keep listening to the next ones, and we'll see you then and there.
Deuce.
Look at all this milk.